I'd like to open the Guilford Select Board meeting of June 22nd, 2020. As chair of the Select Board, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by Governor Scott as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and pursuant to Addendum 6 to Executive Order 01-20 and Act 92, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. In accordance with Act 92, there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. However, in accordance with temporary amendments to the open meeting law, I confirm that we are, 1, providing public access to the meeting by video with additional access offered through telephone. We are using Google Meet for this remote meeting. All members of the Select Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if desired, to participate in this meeting by going to https://meet.google.com/NZS-DDSQ-AWE or by calling the following number 617-675-4444 and entering the following PIN number 842781-495-3282 #. 2, providing public notice of instructions for accessing the meeting. We previously gave notice to the public of the necessary information for accessing this meeting, including how to access the meeting using both the telephone and video. Instructions have also been provided on the town website at guilfordvermont.net. 3, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there is a problem with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 802-254-4117. And 4, continuing the meeting if necessary. In the event the public is unable to access this meeting, it will be continued to a time and place certain. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting are not unanimous, that are not unanimous will be done by roll call vote in accordance with the law. Let's start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance of members. Veranda Porch. You're on mute. Veranda, you're muted. She can't unmute herself.
You can do it.
Why don't you go out and come back in?
Touch the screen.
Randy, do you want to go out and come back in? Okay, Michael Becker.
I am present.
Rusty Marine.
Here.
Zon Eastes.
Here.
Richard Wazansky. Here. Okay, now Veranda Porch is joined again, and let's see whether she is going to be here. Are you there, Veranda?
Yes, you are. We hear you.
Yay.
Okay.
Okay. Can you say present, please, for the roll call?
Present.
Thank you. Very good. Okay, let's moving right along. We would recognize the public, but there is no public as Dan is a member of the staff of the town of Guilford. The rules of procedure will not be applied at this point. The rules of procedure govern how the select board and the public interact with each other. I might ask, are there any additions to the agenda?
Yes, I have one that needs to be addressed prior to the next select board meeting.
Could you say that again, Peter?
I said yes, I have one item from Penny relating to payroll prior to the next, that needs to be addressed prior to the next select board meeting. In fact, it needs to be done prior to next week.
Oh, okay. So should we put that under new business H?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda order?
Richard?
Yes.
I'm very sorry. Could I just add a brief one sentence report about the CUD?
Okay, good. So that will be I under new business.
Or do you want that as an update?
Thank you.
Oh, that's an update. I'm sorry. Yes, so that would be F as an update.
Okay.
Thank you. Are there any changes to the agenda order?
I have none.
All right. I would ask for then if we can approve the minutes of our previous meeting, and I understand Veranda has articulated an addition. And Zant, were you able to add something to the minutes that were left out in regard to your statement?
No, thank you. I'm happy with the way it's stated. I'm okay.
Okay, so I would like to have then a motion to approve the minutes with the addition of Veranda's sentence regarding
The poem.
The poem.
Yes, and I have added that prior to the meeting.
Well, I will
Okay,
move
good.
that we accept the minutes as amended.
Thank you very much. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. Is there any discussion? I'll take the roll call then. Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Zon?
Aye.
Veranda?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. So the minutes are approved from our previous meeting. Now, unfortunately, we have the dreary task of getting out of this meeting and entering into executive session. And after executive session, we shall enter into this meeting again. Peter very courteously gave us the two sign-ins, so I would ask you to leave this meeting.
So Richard, before you do that, I first need a motion that states that premature knowledge of
Oh, yes, thank you, Peter.
could potentially put the town at significant disadvantage. So if somebody would move that.
I so move. Do we have a second?
Yes.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those in favor, I shall take the roll. Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Zon?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. Okay, so we'll
Richard,
see
we
you
need a
in
second
executive
motion
session.
now. We need a second motion to enter into executive session to discuss,
Okay.
to discuss
We're going to-
personnel matters per 1 VSA 313 A1 and to invite Peter and Dan.
Okay, I so move. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, is there any discussion? I shall take the roll. Rusty?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Zon?
Aye.
Miranda?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. Now, can we go now?
Okay, so Richard, so we will, Brian and I will stop recording. Everyone should close their tab and join the executive session meeting. Brian will be back in a little bit.
Okay, so we'll
See
see.
you on the other side.
The Select Board of Guilford has exited executive session at 7:17 p.m. and has taken no action. And we are ready to resume our regular Select Board meeting with a highway update.
Actually, I need to get Dan to come back inside. Hold on.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, they want me to give a highway update. You will have to ask the select board that yourself. All right, Dan's back here with me.
Hi, Dan.
Hello. You want an update on what's going on?
Yeah, please.
Okay, well, we're ditching and chloride. Alan and Dickie have been working on finishing up the project on Carpenter Hill Road with stone line ditching. Basically, that's about it. Pretty soon after we start our new budget, I'm gonna be ordering culverts. And we're gonna start doing culverts for the summer work.
Excellent. Does anyone have any questions for Dan?
And it's been a very dry year, and I've used a lot of calcium chloride, so we need some rain desperately.
Yeah, we really do.
And I didn't know
The plants are.
the other day we had the culvert bids, and Michael asked, I don't know, if you guys gonna discuss on what's going on with the town garage tonight, or are you gonna wait?
No, we are actually, and so to conserve your time, why don't we? Can we, Peter? Can we move the garage up now?
As long as a select board member makes a motion to change the order, since we are now into the meeting, and then you need to take a vote on moving that.
Okay.
Should we invite Dan to be around for the Tater Lane
Yes. So
conversation?
Well,
Yes,
Dan and
so-
I already discussed that, so I think that I understand what he wants from that, so.
Okay, so then, can I have a motion then to move the discussion of the town garage to now as part of the highway update, actually?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Is there any discussion? Very good. Okay, Dan.
You need a vote, Richard.
Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, so the motion passes. And now will Dan, did you want to talk to us about the town garage? And Michael had something to say too, right?
You wanna start, Michael, or?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, and invite everybody to participate in this conversation. I've taken an interest in, trying to get the garage improved. We have money budgeted for it. I have to say the pandemic has been a little bit of a setback, just being home with my kids all the time. I haven't been as active on it as I wanted to, but I've taken a tour of the building. I've met with Danny. I've talked to Peter. I've talked to Richard, and I've been trying to gain some consensus. I know the most pressing need at the moment, and Danny, you can tell me if you agree, is the roof.
Yes, the roof is the major concern. The roof and the siding right now is the major concern.
Now, there are other concerns that have come up in the past. The siding, there are sort of animals that have been like boring into that building. Wasps that are like drilling. There's some sort of like carpenter bees, I think.
Yeah.
And I think in one of the past studies or engineering reports, I from what I could gather, the trim and the windows are also somewhat suspect. So I've been trying to get a handle on, do we want to invest in this building? Do we want to consider, an addition, a new building? I've kind of got the sense that all our equipment doesn't necessarily fit in the building. In speaking with Danny, I get the sense inclined to try to work with what we've got, especially given that we're in a cost-saving mode at the moment. Now, I've had a few different ideas. I thought about a building committee, but in talking with Richard, he talked me out of that because I think we just don't need more committees now, and people's time is valuable. And I'm open to opinions, but I think it would be better to just maybe try to find a solution between Danny, the select board, and Peter and a smaller group. So I've been thinking I think we should look into getting the roof done. I don't think we can do all this work at once.
I agree with you.
But I have wondered, I mean, and a few months back, I had thought we might want to look into a planning study where we get a bunch of feedback about, you know, how effective is the building? What are the needs we're going to need in the future? But I don't know, that would cost money. And I'm kind of wondering if we can kind of keep it on a smaller scale and just hash it out between select board and Danny and, you know.
Well, and we also have the capital needs assessment, which we paid a lot of bucks for. And I thought I had it in my folder, but I don't. But there were four repairs that it suggested. The roof was one and the siding was another. I know that.
Yeah.
And I remember.
Now, one thought I have is like, maybe we could just put the roof, I mean, a roof is a roof, and I think you hire a roofer and you get a roof done. But I've wondered with the other improvements, if we might want to engage a design professional, you know, for like, what kind of siding do we want to put on the building?
I would suggest something.
What windows do we want to put in the building? What's that?
I would suggest something that the woodpeckers and the carpenter bees ain't gonna get into. Like
Yeah, I would tend to agree that, yeah, let's try to get something woodpecker proof.
Maybe metal, I don't know. So, just something so that the little critters.
So do either one of you have a suggestion of how to proceed?
Well, should we put a request for, I mean, a bid package together just for the roof initially? And,
Well,
and circulate it to, you know, a half a dozen different roofing companies. And I've heard the feedback. We want to try to work. I'd like to cast the net.
Dan, is that do you agree that the roof should be done? I mean, that's the highest priority?
Local contractors here in town that could crawl up on the roof and take a look and get up in the attic and take a look and tell you what's wrong with it, you know, get your opinion, and then have them give us an idea what it's gonna cost, you know.
Uh-huh.
If we gotta tear the metal off, or if we just gotta redo it and put all new screws and, you know, washers on them.
Mm-hmm. Do I have any ideas from select board members in regard to how to proceed with this?
Yeah, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm just taking over here. I'm looking for feedback.
Well, I mean, we do have a factual document from the capital needs assessment, which says that the garage needs work. And one of I know that it was the roof and the siding is what I remember. I can't remember the other two things. But Dan, you're saying that the roof is the highest priority, are you not?
Yes. And then the siding should be second.
Okay. So, and the question occurs: do we want to tackle this at this time when we're facing the possibility of an impact to our budget from people who can't afford to pay their taxes because of COVID-19 and the loss of employment?
Well, don't we have a capital program that?
Yeah, we do.
I mean, I guess from my perspective, the only reason not to approach the roof and I guess the siding would be if the building that we have now won't be the building that we'll need. You know, I don't know whether this is, in the future, this is a building that could be added onto. But it seems like in the mood that we are in now financially, we're trying to work with what we've got.
I would say look at the roof, get, prices on that, and then go from there.
I agree.
No, I'll just say, as far as the roof goes, I think there's the potential there could be some structural rot in the roof framing because of the leaking. So I mean, I would like to, I think it's time to I mean, I don't want to pressure anybody, but it's not just that there's a little drip of water coming in the building. Danny, I don't know, but please weigh in. I mean, do you think that's at all a
Well, I mean,
valid
get up
concern?
Get up in the attic with I wouldn't want to get up there right now because it's going to be hotter than Dickens up here. Pick a good cool day where you get up in there with a flashlight and look at what's going on, if there is any rot. I mean, it's open up and up there so you can see what's going on.
So can I ask that Michael and Danny and Peter work on putting together a request for bids for what needs to be done, and then we'll send that out to an array of contractors, preferably local contractors. That's it's our standard way of operating, that we want to have Guilford contractors if at all possible.
Yeah, sure. That sounds. I'm willing to help with that.
Okay, Peter,
So I will work with Michael and Danny to put that together, and we'll report back to the select board.
great. Thank you very much. Thanks, Dan.
Okay.
Thanks, Michael. Let's move on now to
Thanks, Danny.
thanks, Danny.
Thank you, Danny.
The Fort Dummer MOU, Peter.
Good night, all.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
All right, so for the past 2 years, the Recreation Commission has had an agreement with the Vermont Department of Forest, Parks, and Recreation to offer Guilford residents free day use passes to Fort Dummer State Park. This offer has been made again this year. As was the case last year, the Recreation Commission would be responsible to pay up to $300 to offset the cost for these passes. And they are requesting select board approval for this MOU. And I would add, unfortunately, the Recreation Commissioners could not be here this evening due to other obligations. But
I'm the rep to the select board rep to the rec commission.
Yes, you are.
So I can certainly represent their point of view.
I just wanted to add that Wendy asked that I just say to the select board that they feel in this time with COVID-19 and folks having been cooped up in their homes and having lost jobs, that this is of vital importance to help people get outside and to not be a financial burden on families in Guilford.
So we've done this for the past 2 years. I would like to have a motion that we sign the MOU.
Sure, I so move.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Is there any discussion?
The discussion is that Guilfordites tend not to go to Fort Dummer Park, but it would be nice if they did because it's pretty and breezy there.
Okay, so I'm going to take a vote now. Michael?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Veranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Petition for town meeting 2021. That's in your wicket, Peter.
Yes, so I received a request from an organization as to whether or not the select board would consider waiving the requirement for a petition to have an item added to the warrant for town meeting day 2020 due to the current state of the pandemic.
So that would be.
You mean 2021?
That's what I said, yes.
I thought I heard 2020, and so
No,
I just.
2021.
Yeah, 21.
I don't understand. Is this to waive petitions for all newer social service agencies or?
So Guilford has a policy in place that any social service agency that's requesting an increase in funding must petition for 3 years in a row to and
Yes,
do that, as well as that any other group, individual, etc., who wishes to have an item added to the warrant needs to petition and have a minimum of 5% of the voters in town sign it in order to get on the warning.
And so how many signatures do you know offhand is 5% of the town?
Currently 88.
Right.
I don't see what the necessity for doing that is, myself. I think we should carry on with our standard petitioning process.
Sure.
Does anybody agree with me?
The concern was for the staff who need to interact with all those people and potential exposure was the concern, but it's up to the select board.
Well, is it the wish of the town office staff to have us take this possible source of contagion off them, or is the request coming from, let's say, petitioners who don't want to gather signatures?
That's a great question, Miranda. The request is not coming from the town office. The request is coming from a nonprofit organization based in Brattleboro.
Oh, well, I'm with Richard here. I feel as if where there's a will, there's a way, that there's value in connecting with people. And just as we're going to have to be creative in even sending our kids to school, if they're going to school, I think it's fair enough to ask agencies and individuals to be creative and how to gather support when they're coming to our town for money.
So does that mean that should we consider a change in what the mechanism of the petition looks like, that it could be collected online somehow?
The state does not currently permit that.
So it has to be a written signature on a piece of paper.
That is correct.
And this is and the deadline will be next January.
That is also correct. So,
I don't see
which typically means, if you want to get really specific, that means that they have more than 1 day, actually almost 2 days to collect one signature every 2 days between now and when it's due.
Right.
So
I mean, at this moment, it doesn't feel onerous to me. This is not about gathering 2,000 people in a room to get signatures.
No, it's 88 signatures.
It's going and meeting one person after one person, everyone wearing a mask. It seems like it should work. I don't see it as a problem.
I agree. Does anybody disagree with that?
No.
Okay, so be it. It's decided. Thank you. Okay, the next item on the agenda is opening of the town office. The governor's executive order said the town offices could open with restrictions, and we, as you know, we close the town office to the public. So the question is, do we want to open the town office to the public at this time?
How does our town office staff feel about it? Are they unified in their opinion?
I think there are mixed opinions on the matter.
What's your opinion, Peter?
That's a good question. I somewhat expected you to ask me that. I think that, as long as folks are able to remain safe, I don't necessarily see that there's anything wrong with it. And I think that as long as, the select board continues to support and agree with the actions of the governor has recommended and or mandated, depending on the recommendations, I think that's fine.
I tend to agree with that. I think that we should open it and that we should be that we should follow very carefully the governor's directives about opening. It has to do with social distancing. It has to do with wearing masks and so forth. But I'm in favor of opening the office. And
I am also.
You are too, Rusty? Okay.
Yes.
Anybody else in favor?
I don't have a strong opinion about it. one way or the other. I mean, I do feel that, later on the agenda, we have, an item about wearing masks. And I do think it's important that we emphasize that we're serious about safety. And if everybody can agree on that, then having the town office open seems okay.
Well, let me take a vote. Who would like the, Michael?
You can only take a vote if someone has put a motion on the table, Richard.
Oh, that's right. So can I have a motion to open the town office?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, Rusty does, and that would be, the motion would be worded as following the directives of the governor. Do I have a second to that motion? I'll second the motion. Is there any discussion?
One point of discussion, I just want a little clarification. Now, is this opening the town office for folks to come and do business here? Is this opening the office for all staff to return to the office? What exactly is this? I only asked.
Well, as far as I thought the governor's order was that that if staff can work remotely, they should work remotely.
Well, last I heard, yes, they're required to work remotely for the time being, at least for the next 2 weeks.
So this would be opening it for public business.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify the motion, that's all.
Okay.
Well, but the town office actually is open for public business. I mean,
but it's officially closed.
Well, yeah, the town clerk has been accepting people coming in on an appointment basis, which as an elected official, similar to the select board, she has the legal right to do that. This would be fully opening the office for public business within the governor's restrictions.
But the staff is still, as of this week, encouraged to work from home.
Those who have the capacity to do so, yes, are required to do so. That would mean Lisa and myself.
Yeah, because Penny's there every day, all day.
well, but also I want clarification about meetings taking place.
They are not permitted yet.
Right.
So I don't understand. I'm sorry, but why is Penny not able to work from home, but Peter is? Is that just a software issue?
That's correct.
Is it? Huh?
Yes, that is
It's just
correct. A software and computer issue.
And is that the same for our other employees that work in the office?
Yes, that is correct.
So only you and Lisa have the capacity to work at home.
Yes, Lisa and I are the only ones with a laptop with the ability to work from home at the moment.
I see.
The town does not.
But we're lucky.
I'm sorry.
So we just happen to be lucky that we can actually open the town office.
Yes, sir.
So is there any further discussion? I'll take a roll call vote then. Michael?
Aye.
Zahn?
Aye.
Veranda?
Aye.
Rusty?
Aye.
Richard? Aye. So that motion carries. Thank you very much.
So is that effective immediately?
Yes.
Okay.
Effective immediately and of course following the governor's very specific directives.
Yeah, so I do think that it might be useful to have a do's and don'ts, if the town office is now officially open, it might be useful to post on the town website plus on the front door and maybe even in some other places in town.
So what if I were to make this recommendation that I will draft a memo both for town employees as well as for the website and other places, and I will submit that for prior review to one of the select board members, Richard, Veranda, whomever, to that sound?
Yeah, you can, that's fine. Good.
Yeah, I mean, I would be happy to be one of the reviewers, and then we should put it on Front Porch Forum as well,
All the different
just to have
places.
clarity.
Yep.
Okay, thank you very much. And so then the governor's new executive order also said that the select board bodies could meet out of doors, like the select board. When I discussed this with Peter told me, yes, that's true, but BCTV will not film the meeting out of doors. Is that correct, Peter? So it seems to be a moot
That's my
point.
understanding, yes.
Okay. So,
I don't
and we need to,
Right.
okay. So I think we don't need to discuss that because we're going to continue meeting remotely. Is that good for the select board?
Fine.
Yeah. Okay. Tater Lane contractor selection. Peter, do you have some? I see we have 5 bids.
Yes, so would you like me to speak on that very briefly?
Yes, please.
Okay, so the town received 5 bids for the culvert replacement project on Tater Lane. Last Thursday at 1 p.m., we had a public bid opening in which Dan and I were present. Two contractors showed up for that. We received 5 bids. Dan and I reviewed them, as well as I submitted them to V-Trans for their approval, as V-Trans has final approval of this. Unfortunately, 2 of the 5 bids were disqualified from consideration because they were not submitted in accordance with the instructions of the RFP. So that still leaves us with 3 bids that were submitted correctly. And so that is in accordance with the town procurement policy. So that leaves us in a good position. So the bids were as follows. Adams Trucking and Excavation submitted a bid for $94,500. Amadon Construction submitted a bid for $113,000 even. MT3 Unlimited submitted a bid for $165,000. A.S. Clark and Sons submitted a bid for $174,000. And Zaluzny Excavating submitted a bid for $295,000.
It's quite a range there.
It is quite a range.
So which were done correctly?
Adams Trucking and Excavation, Amadon Construction, and MT3 Unlimited were all submitted correctly in accordance with the instructions in the RFP.
I think we should go with Adams did a good job on the culverts last year,
So
right?
you don't have a choice. Per the RFP as well as per state guidelines, you have to go with the lowest bid.
And that's Adams.
And that is Adams. And Dan and I reviewed all of the bids. Adams' bid is very thorough and very detailed. They did a very good job on the previous one, just as a side note, as Michael said. And V-Trans would recommend to the select board to select Adams Trucking and Excavation at $94,500.
Okay. Do we need a motion for that?
Most definitely.
Okay. May I have a motion?
So one question, we're confident that Adams didn't miss a big ticket item here? I mean, you said it was detailed, but I was reading one of the bids and there was some mention of like an aluminum bridge or something. Is that part of the
that was the
exercise?
MT3 bid, was slightly different.
Okay, so they have different approaches towards this?
Yes, so at the pre-bid meeting, which we held 2.5 weeks ago, which included V-Trans as well as the State River Engineer, and we had 9 contractors come to the pre-bid meeting, because if you don't show up to the pre-bid meeting, you could not submit a bid. It was agreed that that bids should be for a structural not pipe, but
Box culvert, is that what it is?
yeah. Well, the V-Trans gave us 2 options. One of them was a concrete box culvert. The other was a steel culvert with a natural bottom. And based on the discussion between the river engineer as well as V-Trans and those present, the final bids were to be submitted of the structural steel culvert.
So I'm looking for a motion to have Adams do it for $94,500, the lowest bid.
I'll make a
I
motion.
so move.
Okay, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion? I take the roll call vote. Michael,
Aye.
Zahn,
Aye.
Miranda,
I,
Rusty,
Aye.
Richard? Yes, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Now, on this next item on the agenda, which is a little bit complicated, what I'd like to do with this agenda item is just to present to you what it's about, and then to revisit it at our next meeting. Would that be okay? I'm not asking to throw it out of the agenda. I'm just wanting to characterize it, to have you think about it, and then have us discuss this further at our next meeting. Does anybody object to that?
No.
Okay. So it's been brought to my attention that we have a policy, as you saw in Peter's memo, that allows an employee to carry over 10 vacation days from one year to the next. And if their accrued vacation exceeds those 10 days, they will be paid monetarily for those days. That's kind of unusual. That's kind of an unusual personnel policy, and I have to say that there are reasons for it that are sort of background reasons that I don't think I should discuss. I would like to discuss perhaps in an executive session because they're personnel related. But what I wanted the select board to do, and what I'd like the select board to do, is to look at our policy, which is the 10 days that can be carried over, plus paying out in cash the days that go beyond the 10 days, to think about that, to look at, and I asked Peter to investigate what the VLCT says about this, and what other towns are doing. And there's a wide variety of what other towns are doing. Some towns are doing much more than 10 days, as you saw. So if you could think about that, and we may want our policy to be as it is, to stay as it is, or we may want to change our policy. We may want to expand it, or we may want to narrow it. I will point you to the VLCT, which in their memo, which says that it's unusual to do a payout. But then when you look at what some towns are doing, they are paying out in cash. So I think I'd like us to review Peter's memo, what the other towns are doing, what our town is doing, and then come back in 2 weeks and make a decision about whether we want to keep it on the books as it is or to change it.
Richard?
Yes.
Just briefly, I received responses from 2 additional towns today, and so if you are going to move or extend this discussion to the next meeting, with your permission, I would edit my memo to the select board and add in the information from the 2 new additional towns.
That would be very helpful, Peter. Yeah, Peter, and that is even more reason why we can put this over as the number 1 item on the agenda for next time, because it is important.
Is there any chance the PDFs could be edited down so that it just the page is pulled out?
I had
Well,
know
if you read Peter's memo, what he did was he concised all of that into his memo.
Oh, okay. All right.
I just I presented the PDFs to all of you because I wanted you to know where I was extracting this information from.
Okay, I just started reading all
That's why I
PDF.
wrote the memo.
Yeah, sorry about that. We should have made that clearer. So what he,
In the future, it might be possible to put a lot of information like that inside a folder that sits in I don't know if that's possible or not, but yeah, I did the same thing. I just started looking because I couldn't see which point on the agenda it exactly related to, so I just started reading. And finally, I began to understand.
So
okay,
actually,
so that I'll take responsibility for that. And the next time when an issue like this comes up, I'll be much more articulate about what we're asking of the select board
and I also
and where the information is.
I also will add that when I put items in the folder, I append Roman numeral and or often a sub number on that, and that refers back to the item number on the agenda. So if you see something that says, 7A, that refers to agenda item number 7A.
Good information. Thank you.
That's very good information. So are we all set on that? Because I don't want to ruffle anybody's feathers, but I just think that it's almost 8 o'clock now, and we really want to move this along on such a hot evening in so many ways. Okay, so then the Recreation Commission resignation.
Yes, the Recreation Commission wanted to notify the Select Board that one of their commissioners has resigned, and they will begin looking for someone else to replace that individual to make a recommendation to the Select Board, unless the Select Board is able to find another appointment prior to that. And I don't know if Miranda has anything to add.
No, I have nothing to add.
Okay, very good.
Did we end up expanding the size of the commission? I know we had that conversation, but or is it holding steady at the current number of commissioners?
I think that the Rec Commission has room for up to 9 commissioners, and they're having shuffling there because Wendy and Eric are trying to take less responsibility, and considering what probably most of you know about how much they've been carrying. You know, it's a shift, but people are coming forward to take more responsibility, and they will be looking for another member.
And I'm sure they'll keep us updated.
And
Yes.
The answer to your question
Okay.
is yes, Michael.
It's a larger number now?
Yes, you
Than it was?
increased it to 9.
Yeah. That's what I thought. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, on to the next. Miranda, did you want to address this, and can we do it quickly about the masks?
Yes, I just wanted to say that a couple of Guilford residents noticed that people were not wearing masks, specifically at the Blueberry House, and maybe a few other places, and they asked that the Select Board make some kind of statement advising people strongly that we believe in wearing masks and we expect them to wear them. And, there is a backstory about how the Blueberry House had tried to, that they were just overwhelmed with hot people wanting ice cream. And I think we could support them by making some kind of non-binding resolution that people should certainly wear masks when they go into public places.
Just as
In our
There's
town.
no way we can make an ordinance saying that if you're in the town of Guilford and public places that you must wear a mask?
Yes, the legislature.
We can't enforce it.
Last 2
I'm
weeks
sorry.
ago, the legislature passed legislation that enabled towns to do that as long as it's within the scope of COVID-19, and many towns across Vermont have already done so, including our neighbor Brattleboro.
Is there anybody in favor of fashioning an ordinance? Or it could either be an ordinance or it could be a recommendation. What's your pleasure? Or nothing?
Or recommendation you wouldn't have to, right? Where an ordinance where you would have to, correct?
That's right, yeah. So the recommendation would be something in the form of that the Select Board recommends and urges the citizens of Guilford to wear masks in public places in our town. That would
Well, my concern is, like, I work at the information center where you're getting all these people from out of New York and New Jersey, Connecticut. If it's just an option, because I've been up there a few times, they don't wear them.
So are you advocating for an ordinance?
I would like to see an ordinance.
Okay, does anybody agree with that?
I would like to see an ordinance. I just am a veteran of the flood and fluvial erosion hazard ordinance debacle. And I just want this to be effective.
Right, we did have a lot of backlash for creating an ordinance.
Well, so how about this, Richard? Because VLCT did put out, because this is a unique situation, They did put out some guidance on doing something like this. How about I will look into the specifics of their recommendations to municipalities and report back to the select board, and you can make a decision at the next meeting. Which also
That sounds,
okay.
Now, was the word public space, is that what we're considering? Not,
yes,
so I mean, Blueberry
Public space.
House, we're not telling anybody what to do there because that's privately owned, right?
No, but the select board can, because that is a business.
yeah, we could say business, we could put businesses in the ordinance or the recommendation.
And the business can also do it themselves too,
That is
can't they? They
correct,
can, I mean, the
yes.
Guilford, huh?
Yes, you are correct.
The Guilford store demands masks from everyone. Yeah.
So Peter, if you could look into that, then we can enact something at our next meeting.
I will do so.
Sorry, one question. The info center
Yes, please.
is not under state security. I mean, it's considered a Guilford entity.
No, it is not. It's
Rusty?
state.
I would imagine it comes under a town ordinance. They would have to follow it, wouldn't they, Peter?
No, it's,
I just thought,
that is state property. That falls under the state. The select board of Guilford has no authority over that.
Okay.
Okay, but we're still talking about other places in our town which we want to protect and protect the citizens of our town. So Peter, if you do that, then we'll have something to go on, and we can also see what other towns have done,
I will report back to the select
including our
board
neighbor Brown.
prior to the next meeting, but then we can add it as an agenda item as well for further discussion.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. The delinquent taxes and COVID-19, these are updates.
Yes, so one of the tasks the select board gave to me, I guess, 2 meetings back, was to discuss with Penny. It was a question from Zahn, and the rest of the select board agreed with Zahn. Wondering about who is responsible for assessing the penalty and interest on delinquent taxes. And as a delinquent tax collector, I spoke with Penny, and she shared a document with us, which I shared with you, which clarifies the state statute. And in short, it is the delinquent tax collector that assesses the penalty, and it is the select board that assesses the interest, is in short what it is.
Okay, so that's a matter, that's a point of information. Are there any discussion or questions about that? That seems pretty cut and dried.
Yep.
All right,
Thank
moving
you.
right along. Thank you, Peter.
thank you.
Do you have an update on COVID-19?
Yep, I'll be quick since we're late. So
Yeah.
far, the governor has not had any changes to his executive orders since in the past 2 weeks. The outbreak in Winooski and Burlington is now stabilized and brings Vermont back into one of the best positions in the country. New England as a whole is improving faster than other parts of the country, particularly the West and the South. I'll skip over, but at the governor's press conference this morning, he gave a number of very staggering statistics of dramatic increases in worldwide cases as well as increases in cases across the country. But thankfully, Vermont is in a very good position. He also reminded, he being Governor Scott, reminded residents that the virus is still very present in Vermont, and we must continue to follow the current requirements and actions until a vaccine becomes available. And then last but not least, there have been 2 additional small outbreaks in Vermont. One was in Rutland and the other was in Windham County. But because of the flexibility that the Department of Health now has in creating pop-up testing sites, the Department of Health now believes that those 2 outbreaks have been contained and there have been no new additional cases.
Thank you. Very good update. Now, and you have the dog officer information?
Yeah, so that, I'm trying, give me 2 seconds, I'm sorry.
That's okay. I'm going at an accelerated pace. I hope you all don't mind. It's late and I'm soaking wet.
Yeah.
So, Richard, if the select board so wishes, someone could make a motion to defer these two remaining items till the next select board meeting, as they are not urgently critical.
I would be happy with that. Would that be pleasing the other members of the select board if we kick those over to our next meeting?
Yes.
Yeah.
I would like to just say not move the CUD report. It's one sentence.
Okay, so that's right. We added
Somebody needs
that.
to
So
make a motion to defer, or whatever adjective you want to use, those to the next meeting.
So moved.
do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion? All those take the roll call. Michael,
Aye.
John,
Aye.
Veranda,
I,
Rusty,
Aye.
Richard? Aye. Okay, so then the last item on our agenda at 8:05 is the CUD, and we can't wait to hear, Zahn.
I just quickly want to report that on Wednesday, the CUD, they have a monthly meeting, and on Wednesday they voted to accept Guilford into the
hurrah.
CUD.
Bravo!
And they have monthly meetings that I will be attending. Anyone else is welcome to attend them. I'll be attending them. And I also have offered, at least initially, to join the communications committee. They have standing communications committee.
Great, that is great news.
So
Thank you, Zahn.
Thank you, Zahn.
for reporting that to us, and thank you for your work, you and Michael on this particularly.
thank you.
We're making progress.
Many Guilford residents will be very relieved and happy to think we're
Good.
moving on this.
We'll watch for a report in the next Gazette. I just submitted a report today.
Oh, great. Okay, so now we're on to the warrants. Veranda?
Okay, I propose that I move that we pay the following warrants. Payroll week 6/14/20 to the tune of $11,989.09. Payroll week ending 6/21/20 for $6,109.74. Expense warrant $2,024 for $19,017.39, and expense warrant number FW24 for $52.50.
Is there I have a second?
Sorry, that was on the next page, for the total of $37,168.72.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion, Veranda, or anyone?
No.
Okay. All those in, let's see, Michael,
Aye.
Zahn,
Aye.
Miranda,
Aye.
Rusty,
Aye.
Richard, aye. Thank you very much. And I'll take a motion for, communications, please. Peter, any
Yeah,
communications?
well, so Ellie Mayanen, who's the Green Up Coordinator, wrote a letter to the Select Board just sharing some details about Green Up Day this year. But to save time, I will scan it and email it to all the Select Board members.
Thank you.
And secondly, I received communication from the Guilford Historical Society that the Historical Society building is going to be closed indefinitely because the ceiling is currently collapsing into the building, and they're having the not the town's, but their insurance company come and review the damage, and will report back to the Select Board.
Okay, so we'll have to have that on the agenda for next time.
As long as, I don't know when the adjuster is coming to review the damage, so I will inform the Select Board when I know more information.
Thank you, Peter. Okay, now we're on to action taken.
So I have not, due to the extended speed of the meeting towards the end here, I've not had time to review them as of yet. But the previous meeting, the actions that were taken, was the Select Board moved to prohibit overtime until more is known about budget shortfalls. Peter to draft a memo for employees and share it with Richard. Peter to organize a doodle poll to schedule a select board budget meeting related to COVID-19, and Peter to follow up on 2 items from the previous meeting, which I did. They were agenda items above that were, one was talked about and one moving to the next meeting.
Okay. Did you say
So-
that you didn't take account of the actions to be taken from this meeting?
No, because I've been trying to work on the minutes, so I would need to
Yeah.
review them. I apologize.
Let's make sure we cut requests for bids for roof. We work on that.
Yeah, so
I'll be in
I know there
touch.
was, the town garage is one.
Yeah, I
Is
do have
one
them
that-
written down. I just haven't organized them yet.
Oh, okay.
Um,
Did we settle on a budget working meeting day?
Yeah, that is correct.
Yes.
And I sent an email to all select board members regarding that. So the actions for this meeting were, let's see, that one doesn't matter. It's just moving an agenda item. So regarding the town garage study, the action item is that I am going to work with Michael and Danny on doing a request for
An
bids
assessment.
on the roof. Veranda approved or moved to approve the MOU for the state park passes. The select board will maintain the current policy for petitions for town meeting. The select board reopened the town office to the public, and I am to draft a memo regarding the reopening. The select board awarded the Tater Lane bid project to Adams Trucking and Excavation. Peter is to edit the memo to the select board relating to vacation time for the next select board meeting. And
The mask thing.
yep, that's correct. That's what I was going to say next. I will investigate the details from VLCT regarding their recommendations for mask ordinances and report back to the select board. And we have 2 items that were moved to the next meeting, and that is it.
Very good. Thank you. That we've accomplished a lot this evening, and I appreciate your time. And I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Do I have
So
a second?
seconded.
Okay. Is there any discussion? I'll take the roll. Michael,
Hi.
Zon,
Aye.
Veranda,
Aye.
Rusty,
Aye.
Richard. Aye. Okay, the meeting is adjourned at 8:12 p.m. Thank you very much. Have a good evening.